Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How is everyone doing out there? I pray that you're doing well. I'm doing well. And I believe my co host is doing well. Are you well, Takira?
I'm very well today.
Wonderful, wonderful. I will introduce my guest momentarily, but I think she's doing well as well. But just wanted to welcome you to Project 365, where we have committed to bringing you hope, encouragement, and inspiration. My name is Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and president of a nonprofit organization, also a 501c3. And we have the vision of rendering help, not just help, but hope and encouragement and inspiration to the world. And I just bless God for the opportunity to do so. I bless God because He's allowed me and the team to bring these messages of hope, encouragement, and inspiration to you. I just bless him. He's a great God and he is worthy to be praised. Before we yield the floor to our guest, I would love if you would go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel because we have some wonderful messages to get out to the world. Every message that we bring to this platform is something that is related to sharing hope, sharing encouragement, and sharing some type of inspiration. There may be topics that you may not be interested in. However, you might know someone that is interested in them. There may be topics that you don't agree with, but somebody else may agree with it. So, back in the day, they had a saying, you eat the fish and you spit out the bones. So, it is what it is. I'm so glad that God made us all different, but truth is truth. One thing we will bring to you is truth. Okay? Let us welcome our guest on today. Today we have, I see Celenia. Now, say the other part.
Loose Celenia.
See, you put an extra syllable or something in there. Look, let me call you what I love to call you, CC.
You can call me CC.
I'm so happy to have CC with us on today. I tell you what, this young lady is a gift from God, and I bless God for the relationship that we have. And I want you to give her a hand clap because if she did not help me to do this, or shall I say, set this up, I wouldn't be here. But then again, God would have given me someone else. However, since she was here, since we already had a relationship, she just stepped right in so ready to help me, and I just bless God for that. I thank you for who you are in my life, and I bless God for it. I love you, and God bless you. And on that note, you got it, CC.
Well, definitely, it's my pleasure. You're gonna don't make me cry. Not yet, but it's my pleasure to be a part and to help you fulfill the vision that God gave you. It's been awesome to log in and see, all the episodes every day, the consistency and commitment that you have. So I'm grateful and honored and that you would ask me to join you on today. As she said, my name is Luz Celenia, and many call me CC affectionately. And today I want to share with you all the journey that I've been on in the last several years after it, not even after, because it started towards the tail end of a very abusive relationship. Just a little bit of background about me. I raised in the church. My mama says she shouted the night before she gave birth to me 38 years ago this coming Sunday. And church culture has been as much of my DNA as anything else. I am of Puerto Rican and Belizean descent. So I was raised in mostly a Pentecostal Spanish church. My grandfather being my pastor for many, many years. And as well as joining Baptist Church and now being a member of Kingdom Worship Center, which is a non-denominational church with a Pentecostal flair.
Mhm.
If you know, you know. And I say that because I had a very strong foundation with what I was taught, the Bible, with my grandfather being my pastor. When I lived with him, literally, we had church every single day. If we weren't in the building, we had what we call altar. And my grandfather made the entire family stand in the living room. We sang praise and worship. He preached to the family. We prayed. Like, that is what I grew up with. And with that came very strict ideals of what it meant to be a woman.
Mm.
And most of the times, especially if you grew up in a very religious household, they were strict yeses and strict nos, very legalistic and religious, with good intention, because they wanted us to live holy. That meant no lipstick, no earrings, no shorts, no pants, no short sleeve, no V-neck. All of it created to what he thought was protecting me.
Yes.
But to put forth an image of virtuosity and virginness, that's the word. You know, we were to be presented as pure. And fast forward, you know, I did the whole thing. I was a virgin till 23. And, you know, I thought, like, all right, I'm following these steps, and this is what's going to happen because of my obedience. It didn't happen. I was 23, you know, long story short. And I was like, God, like, I'm not living my life, and I'm seeing people pass me by, and here I am denying myself, like, what is going on? And so at that moment, I started dating, and the relationships I got in, as I look back, became more and more toxic. So leading up to the relationship I was in, starting in 2013, I found myself in an abusive relationship with a man I had no business being with. In 2017, I felt so stuck and so depressed. I had gained so much weight. I was so unhappy. I was disconnected from my church. I would say God, but we know God doesn't disconnect from us, although it felt like there was a disconnection. I was disconnected from my family, my friends, and ultimately myself. And that led me to go into therapy. In therapy, I started to really investigate my core beliefs. And one of those things that I realized I believed that came from church was that the very expression of my femininity was sinful. Any of us who grew up in church can remember, maybe not even that far long ago, that, you know, we're always told that, you know, we're supposed to wear certain things to keep men from sinning. Mm-hmm. So if he sins, if he lusts after you, it's not on him, it's on you. What were you wearing?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And that translated to shame for me. I felt like I, as a woman, was set up to never be good enough, because let's be real here, like, we're beautiful women.
Yeah.
So you're gonna look at me and you're gonna see like but it just never felt like I could be truly free to be who I am and to acknowledge myself as divine, because of the messaging that I heard and what I saw, that, you know, in the Spanish church, like, people were put on discipline, sat down if they got pregnant outside of wedlock. Not the man, just the woman, because they translated that pregnancy to shame. Mm-hmm. And so I realized like all of these messages, all of these teachings that although well-intentioned, just weren't serving me and were really based in a patriarchal type of church that we see mirrored in society. And so I started on this journey to really unpack those things. And in my research, I found that in the Hebrew translations of the Bible, Holy Spirit has a female pronoun.
Yeah.
And that took me on a journey that was like, that changed everything. Because, and I catch myself now, in all of my years, God has always been He. Mm-hmm. He's always been King, Father, you know, any gender neutral term in the Bible is like, oh, well, you know, everybody's a son. And we always divert to the masculine as being the, you know, the starting point for everyone. And I'm like, how different would it have been if I sat in a church under teaching and preaching that taught balance, and not just the divinity of God in the masculine, but the divinity of God in the feminine? And what does that mean now that I've had this illumination to the Hebrew and the Aramaic translation of Holy Spirit being regarded as the divine feminine, as the mother? And that I can now see myself in my feminine expression as a divine being, that I don't have to be masculine or lead in my masculine to be godlike. Archbishop Ralph Dennis constantly teaches us about how we're God in the earth.
Yes.
And then you think about the society we live in where the hustle and grind culture is celebrated. Everybody wants to be a boss. Everybody wants to be a leader. And what is celebrated is being in the masculine, which is not bad. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that masculine is bad and feminine is good, but there has been an imbalance in my life and what I was taught in church and what I saw out in society and just in culture. As Black women, we're constantly being praised for being strong Black women because we get things done. Single mothers out here doing it without a man. And a lot of times to survive, just survival, not thriving, but just basic survival means we're constantly making decisions. We're constantly leading into our logic and dominating, for me, overthinking everything because I'm worrying about being judged and am I making the right decision for me and my future. You know, I grew up poor, so everything was paramount that I did the right thing, which didn't leave room for the balance of feminine. And so I realized, like, all right, so what is divine or sacred femininity? Think about Holy Spirit. What does Holy Spirit mean to us? Often in some texts, she's regarded as Lady Wisdom. There are, you know, we regard her as a consuming fire, a mighty rushing wind. There's no weakness in the feminine. Let's get that really clear. It's not about being soft and letting people run all over us. Mm-mm. Because with that, and this is something that the world will say as a woman's intuition, that's the Holy Spirit. That still small voice that often sounds like your own is Holy Spirit guiding us from just what I'm supposed to wear, literally.
Yeah.
What I'm supposed to wear in the day. Mm-hmm. And without being vulgar, as women, if you've had your cycle, how many times are you like, oh, I should wear these pants. Oh, I don't want to wear that. And then you start your cycle early and you're like, oh, or you should have grabbed something, or I got my hair braided a year and a half ago and my braider told me get 8 packs. I got a lot of hair, but I was in this hair supply store, and literally that still small voice was like, no, get 10. She used every last bit of that 10 and was like, how did you know? And at that moment, it became a witness to be able to tell her, like, this is gonna probably sound really crazy to you, but literally Holy Spirit was like, get 10. I don't know. I don't get my hair braided often, so I had no idea. Just the inconvenience of not listening would have meant we had to go to the store, we'd have been delayed, you know, but little things like that. Mm-hmm. And but then I thought about other times. As I mentioned earlier, the toxic relationships with men that I had seeking love and validation and attachment, I realized that question, you know, we all, as Christians, we always talk about, oh, God's will, he allowed me to go through that, or he, you know, will use whatever we go through for purpose. But I had to look back, like, did God really want me to go through that? Did he really want me to end up in an abusive relationship to learn the lesson that Holy Spirit had been urging me to learn for years? Because I could recall all the moments that Holy Spirit would be like, that man is cheating on you. Why are you letting him do that? Why are you letting him talk to you like that? Why'd you let him move in? It's only been 3 months. That there was always a way of escape.
Holy Spirit would tell you.
There was always a way of escape. And I just opted to go the other way because I saw something that I thought I wanted. The man was here at this moment. So why would I let, you know, men cheat? You find ways to justify staying, even though your spirit is just not settled. And I realized in this journey that embracing that divine femininity meant not forcing things, trusting God and the flow that he has created for my life, the flow that Holy Spirit constantly is guiding me. It meant realizing the power of just being. That I don't have to do or manufacture anything to be worthy.
Right, right. And that helped you to pull from that relationship?
Absolutely. It made it so clear and so easy. Like, if I stay here, I may not have died physically, because that's where he drew the line. He never hit me. He was aggressive. He abused me financially, sexually, raping me twice. Like, there so many, but he never punched me. He never did anything that it would have been easy to prove that I was being abused. But in that moment, realizing I'm a goddess. Why would I allow anyone in my life to treat me as less than who I am?
Right. So a light bulb came off, and you were what was your turning moment?
So the turning point for me, one, was acknowledging where I was in that moment, and realizing I am in an abusive relationship. I have to leave. And that took several months of therapy, literally every day every week for an hour. And I just was like, whoa. And from that moment on, submitting to God in that moment and acknowledging where I was, Holy Spirit opened doors.
Yeah, when you yielded to him, that's when that change came.
Yeah.
So how did you Go ahead. Go ahead.
And he saw it. He knew it. He saw it in how I treated myself every day, how I got up, how I started losing weight without, obviously discipline, but the struggle that I had in years past just wasn't there because I was doing it out of love. I didn't hate myself.
Right.
I also wasn't blaming myself for where I was and the choices that I made. I was showing myself grace and realizing if I'm going to get out of here and out of this relationship alive, spiritually, emotionally, physically, etc., that I had to do it from a place of love.
So how did you get to that place of radiant? How did you build?
So radiant was a name that God gave me because in the millennial generation, we always talk about the glow up, especially for women who get out of relationships and all of a sudden she cuts her hair, dyes her hair, she's lost a little weight, and it's like, oh, she did the glow up. And I realized, like, yeah, that's great. I love a good stiletto. I love a good beat. I love the expression of femininity as it means in clothing and hair. But that's just a small portion of it.
Right, right.
I realized that the real glow up happens from the inside.
Yep.
And a woman who has committed to healing and loving herself and is connected to her femininity is taking time to clear her schedule, to hear Holy Spirit, truly radiates from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that glow that you see when a woman is pregnant. No matter what she like, that certain place of being like, no matter what you wear, no matter like, there's just something about her.
Gotcha.
She commands a room. The moment a radiant woman walks in, people take notice.
Yes, yes. It's something about that power that she possesses on the inside. It's something about, it doesn't matter what other people think. That confidence, not confidence, not arrogance, but that confidence. And that confidence comes from God.
Yeah.
So in Radiant, what do you share? Is it men is it women that you share with? Tell us a little bit about Radiant.
My target audience is women, although I think it's something that men can glean from, so that they learn how to accept the feminine, how to protect, how to honor her. But my target audience really is women of all creeds, but specifically Black and Latina women, because that's who I am. And I want to share with them that there's life after trauma, that we can thrive, we can manifest the life that God had always intended us to have.
It's good.
I've adopted the principle of sensuality in my life, and that's something that I also teach. I think people think sensuality and automatically go to sex, but I think the principles of sensuality that have been used in sex can apply to and do apply to all of our lives. Because again, like, we're so used to going, we rarely slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down to know who we are,
Mm-hmm.
to connect with our emotions, which I call my teachers.
Okay.
So they're trying to teach me something about that moment. Why am I angry? What do I need in this moment? Why am I jealous? What is me being jealous of my sister doing for me?
Right. Right.
Knowing who I am, I wrote a statement of who I am, and knowing that if at any point in time who I am doesn't serve me, I can change that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. In a sense of, I saw one comment that my friend Marie made. She says, all about attitude. It's all about attitude, And then going back to what you said about why am I jealous? It's more so because it's something that's in you. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the other person. You're mad with the other person because she's confident. You're mad with the other person because she dresses like that. And one of the things, when you are confident, you're not worried about what other people say all the time. It
Mhm.
has to be something that comes from within. I mean, I look at other ladies or young ladies who dress differently than I cannot bash them because they're dressing differently. I dress the way I want. She dresses the way she wants. So, but the thing is, we have to learn how to um, sit with ourselves,
Yeah.
be happy with ourselves. And if there's some things that need to be changed, let's change them. We cannot allow some negativity that went on or came about years ago, from whether it's in church or in the street, in the community, in our home, or wherever it came from, because we do not want to have that to carry over into
Yeah.
the next generation. And if
Yeah.
we don't fix this, ladies, and whatever the men want to take away from this particular segment, if we don't fix this, it's going to go into the next generation. So
Mhm.
let's find out what's going on with ourselves.
Yep.
Find out what's going on with ourselves. And I am of the persuasion, um, make it right with you. And when I can be happy just with me, with this pandemic, you, we would have to learn how to be happy with ourselves and sit with ourselves and sit with God and sit with our thoughts and sit with what makes us happy and sit with what makes us sad, because whatever makes us sad, we have to change it. We really have to change it. And I think about UCC in the age that you are now, in the age that I am, and I'm thinking, what can this young lady tell me? Somebody may, I'm not thinking it. Wink, wink. But I'm thinking, what can this young lady tell me? But when we open our, stop thinking in the box, let's think out of the box and learn something else. And when we find that there is something to be learned from a younger generation, let's embrace it. Let's embrace it. Just like I may learn from you, the next generation may learn from that person. So it's a continuous time of learning and unscare like an onion. Get rid of the outer layers and use what you really can use. Um, it's amazing how what we see today, it does. Sometimes it knocks the scale, not the scale. What is it when you have a sword and it heals? Scab.
Yeah.
Scab. You sometimes we heal, but we heal with a scab, and sometimes there's a little hair in there that
Mhm.
does not, in under the skin, that does not allow complete healing. But when we dig in and take out what does not belong there, then the healing can come. When
Yeah.
you address it, a splinter, as long as you keep hitting it, it's going to hurt. Once you take it out, then it won't hurt anymore. But we have to face some of the things that we've been taught from years back. They taught us what they knew, and I would not change some of the things that my mom taught me, my dad taught me. I would not change it for the world. There are other things that as time progressed, we had to change,
Yeah.
but we hold on to those foundational beliefs and we hold on to those foundational truth rather. But all at the same time, um, I enjoy my femininity. I enjoy
Yeah.
it. I tell you, I love who God has made me. That has not always been.
Yeah.
I looked over the fence and saw what they were doing, and wish I could. And believe it, that's a slap in God's face when we look over the fence and not be happy with who God has made us. But rewind. I am so happy with who God made me. So thank you, CC. Thank you so very much for sharing how you actually turn inward and saw what and who God made you, and tapped into that femininity, so that can really help you out of any type of problem, any type of dark place, any type of place that held you captive. It's amazing when every time we turn to God, God always provides a way out. Archbishop Ralph Dennis says, for every going through, there is a coming out. every time, every time. But thank you again. I so appreciate you. I love you.
I love
And
you.
oh, we'll be in touch. You know that. We'll be in touch.
Yes.
Kira?
Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on the show. I feel like, well, on the broadcast, I feel like the topic and the journey that you have embraced to help others, I feel like it's so important, and it's something that's really missing for women, especially women of color, like you stated. Like you said, like no one teaches us these things, especially from the generation
Right.
before us. It just wasn't how it's just not how it goes. I did want to just recap on a couple of things you said. You said so many good things
Yeah.
today. Seriously. But again, once again, that underlying theme, the underlying themes that we have with our different presenters, the first step is acknowledging where you are. Once you acknowledged where you were, and you looked within and said, why do I feel this way? You know, you embraced your emotions. That's the first step. That's half the battle right there. And then the glow up, as you say, you know, can start to happen within. And you know, I just really thank God for what he's doing in your life and what you're doing for others, because women, like, we are we're pressured so much to be so much, you know, to
Yeah.
be perfect, to be this, to be that. And if people would just, or society would just allow us to be ourselves, then hello, the world would be such a better place, in
Yeah.
my opinion. And I just love being a woman, and we are so powerful. And I'm glad that you have taken the unfortunate trauma that you've been through, and that you are using it for a positive message, and you're helping others like you, because there's so many women, especially in the community of color, of women of color, that they hide their trauma and they can't heal because no one like you has come along and said, hey, I acknowledge where you are. I've been there. Let me show you how you can be your true divine self. So I really appreciate that. Of course, you know, I take plenty of notes, but Cece, do you have any information for, because I know you have your organization. Do you want to give us the information so people can take advantage of what you have to offer?
Absolutely. So last week I launched my website. So if you would like to see or contact me for sessions, you can go to lucelenia.com. That's LUZCELENIA.com. And there you will also see that tomorrow I am launching my podcast called The Radiant Sessions. I'm so excited. I'm launching with 3 episodes, and there will be new episodes every single week where we are talking about the intersection of spirituality, sensuality, mental health. I will feature guests every so often, sometimes even my friends. And I don't claim to be an expert. I am just sharing from my testimony, which is the commitment that I made to God, that I'm like, I came through this victorious, and I will not sit on it. I will not keep it to myself. We are called to be light in the world. And so this is how I'm shining my light through Radiant. And I look forward to connecting with you all. And let me know what you think about the podcast. I'm excited to hear everybody's feedback.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great, great, great. So good. It's so good. And you know, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. So, ladies, gentlemen, and I know I've seen a gentleman on here. Matter of fact, let me give a shout out to my nephew, Lavelle Herbert.
Hey,
Lavelle
Lavelle.
Herbert. So
Hello.
that's my boy right there. Those that more so the older generation. We have some older generation viewers, and this may, and I'm hoping that it does, and it may not resonate with you. However, you have to know some women of color or even other persuasions that this message could bless you. or bless them. And it's amazing how God allows us to put this message out there. And I am so happy for your boldness, CC, your boldness to share maybe some ugly areas in your life that is in your past, and you use that now as a stepping stone to go to your future. So we're happy for that. And I'm asking if the audience would again go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, get this message to individuals around the world, and let's see what God does with it. And I know he's going to bless somebody with it. So let me read this. This is a motivational Monday message that my son Conway Robinson sent me. Though it says I just said motivational Monday, well, it's going to be motivational Tuesday now. So let me read it to you. The good part about it is that he's committed to doing, or shall I say, writing these motivational words. However, in conversation with them, he stated that he said, "Ma Wheatley, I can't write anything. I can't write it until God downloads it." And I love that. I love that. So it doesn't just become words, but it actually is a message. So it's very short, and then we're gonna just let you go. Step out on faith and do something this week that you felt, but you were worried and afraid to try it. Remember, the failure is not in trying, the failure is in failing to try. Missing the mark is a learning experience. Not seeing the mark because, let me say, not seeing the mark because you're afraid to look is failing to learn and experience. Step out in faith and watch the Creator do something special. Because of your faith in Him, He will definitely bless you. All right. I think that's a great word to end on. And I bless God for you, and for you. And we shall see you tomorrow. God bless.